Here.
Lorick. Here. Dukenyak.
Here.
Toman.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Would everybody please rise for the pledge? And would Alderman Lark please lead us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes of 11:20. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Unless there's comments or corrections, motion?
Kirkowski make a motion to approve the minutes of November 20th, 2017.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Item number 4, first public hearing is for Zune America to rezone the property at 8142 South 6th Street from B4 Highway Business, Light Manufacturing, 1 Light Manufacturing. Catherine?
Public hearing number 1 is to consider a request by Chris Nicholson, Zune America, Inc., to rezone the property at 8142 South 6th Street from B4 Highway Business to LM1 Light Manufacturing District. Applicant is Chris Nicholson, Zune America, Inc., property owner, Woodman's Food Market, Inc. Legal description there follows. Date of notice is November 8th, 2017.
Pete?
All right, thank you. As the public hearing notice stated, this is a rezone for property at 8142 South 6th Street from B4 Highway Business to LM1 Light Manufacturing. Right now, the property is going to be developed to be the headquarters for the Zune America. The existing parcels that surround the parcel in question is mixed-use commercial manufacturing. The LM1 district is a transition zoning between the mixed-use and commercial and manufacturing, and staff has looked at what it is that Zune will be doing, which is service, repair, demonstrations, testing, office, and warehousing, which is all uses that are allowed in the LM1 district. So with that said, that one of the things that is required as part of the sale of this land is that the property be rezoned to LM1. Rezoning this property to LM1 will allow for the development of vacant parcel at 8162 and provide a positive financial impact. This is a public hearing. Anyone who's interested in just making a comment regarding this subject should step forward to the podium, state your name and address, and proceed to address the council with your comments. This public hearing is now open.
Thank you, Pete. As Pete stated, we will make 3 calls. This will be the first call. Second call. Third and final call. We will now close the public hearing and move on to item 5, consideration of that ordinance 2878 to rezone the property at 8142 South 6th from B4 Highway Business to LM1 Light Manufacturing. Open it up for questions or comments from the council. Seeing none, motion.
Oracle move that the council adopt ordinance number 2887, an ordinance to rezone the property at 8142 South 6th Street from B4 Highway Business to LM1 Light Manufacturing District.
Dukenyak second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Next, item number 6, is consideration of a request by iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC to rezone the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. There will be no change to the C1 Shoreline Wetland Conservatory District, sorry about that, and the Flood Fringe District or the Floodway District. Catherine.
Public hearing number 2 is to consider a request by iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC to rezone the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. No change to the C1 Shoreland Wetland Conservancy District, FF Flood Fringe District, or FW Floodway District. The applicant is iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC. Property owner is Drexel Self Storage, Inc. and Polzinski Family Trust, UID. 102992 DBA Metal Spun Products. Legal description there follows. Date of notice is November 8th, 2017.
Pete.
All right. As stated in the public hearing notice, iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC is requesting approval of a rezoning of the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. The districts that are surrounding these parcels are mixed use and commercial districts. The B4 use would be appropriate for this location. Staff does recommend that the Common Council adopt ordinance 92891 regarding the rezoning of the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. After a public hearing, this public hearing is now open.
Thank you, Pete. Again, we will make 3 calls. This will be the first call. Second call. Third and final call. Seeing none, we will now close the public hearing and move on to consideration to item number 7. And for that, I will turn it over to Pete Wagner.
All right. Following the public hearing, there is one, staff has realized that there is a need to amend the comprehensive plan prior to this rezoning request going on. So staff is recommending that we actually hold this pending the hearing and potential adoption of the comprehensive plan amendment. Right now, staff has built out a timeline for the comprehensive plan amendment, and that'll go before the Plan Commission on January 9th next year, reviewed by the Common Council on January 16th, with a public hearing of the comprehensive plan amendment as well as the rezone request, hopefully on February 20th of next year. So therefore, staff does recommend holding this item until that time.
Thank you, Pete. Questions, comments from the council concerning the action on 7? It's all understood. Melissa, would you like to say a few words?
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate, staff has reviewed this at some length with planning, and we are asking that the recommendation from staff is a motion to hold ordinance number 2891 until after adoption of the amendment to the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. So if somebody'd like to make the motion?
Kirkowski will make a motion to hold ordinance number 2891 pending the adoption of the amendment to the comprehensive plan.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Brings us to new business. Item number 8 is consideration of a resolution approving the certified survey map for iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC for the properties at 410, 500 and West Drexel Avenue. Pete.
Great, thank you. The applicant is requesting approval of the certified survey map for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel. Once combined, the final parcel will be larger than 3 acres. This does meet the M1 manufacturing zoning district. On the CSM, it does show the wetlands and the floodplain areas, which is a requirement for recording. Staff did find a few errors that on the signature page that need to be addressed. So right now, there's just some technical corrections that need to be done to the CSM prior to recording. Therefore, staff does recommend that the council adopt resolution number 11891-120517, a resolution approving a certified survey map for iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue. Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you, Pete. Open it up to the council for questions. Please address them to Pete. Nothing? Nope. All right, motion.
Kirkowski will make a motion that council adopt resolution number 11891-120517, a resolution approving a certified survey map for iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Item 9, consideration of a motion to purchase 2 new PowerEdge R730 servers from Dell in the amount of $28,291.76. Here to tell us all about that is, looks like Caesar.
Good evening. First, before I start talking about that, I'm just going to introduce you to my assistant IT manager. It's Kevin Koenig, and he's been around for a year and a half now, I think, roughly. I don't know if you've all met him yet or not, but I thought I'd introduce him and have him come to one of your council meetings. What we're looking for here is over the past 3 years or so, we've gone the route of taking all our physical servers and consolidating them as virtual servers. And some of you may know what that is or may not, but basically it means that instead of having 15 to 20 separate boxes, we put them together into 2 or 3 boxes. And so they use a lot less electricity and fewer resources and are more efficient. And I tried to explain here a cluster. What a cluster is it's 2 or more servers paired together so that if one server fails for some reason, the other server takes over and none of the programs or software or databases go down. So it's continuity. And what we do with our clusters is we split them and then we're planning on putting half the cluster at City Hall and half the cluster at the PD. So a building can burn down and they'll still be up and running. So basically what this is we have a pair of servers that are 3 years old right now that are a cluster currently, and we're running out of hard drive space on them. And it's more efficient, and at this point, because they're 3 years old and they're mission critical, it's easier to purchase 2 new servers, put them in place, and then we'll reutilize the 2 existing servers for another virtual server application at this point. The cost of 2 new servers is the $28,291.76, which sounds like a lot of money, but we're putting a lot of memory and a lot of hard drive space in there. So while it's not cheap, it's much more efficient than buying $6,000 to $10,000 servers and having a whole bunch of physical ones using a lot of electricity.
Questions? Ken?
This one, Caesar, I don't remember. What did you estimate these things were going to cost us in last year's CEP? Do you remember?
Usually I don't separate them in the CEP. We just get a lump
We
CEP
get the 100 and
amount,
whatever.
but we get the 100,000
Yeah.
there. So last time we bought cluster servers, they were around 11,000 a piece, and it was the ones that we're replacing now. So the cost isn't very much different, but the hard drive space on them is dramatically larger. It's more than double what the old set is.
Is it the physical space, or do they just wear out? How many years are we getting out of them?
Most of our servers I keep for probably 6 or 7 years before I'll get rid of a server. But something like this, because these servers are going to have all the police and fire CAD and RMS things on them, we want to make sure that those servers don't go down for any reason. So normally I would not have replaced those 2 servers being 3 years old, but in this case, because this is more important software that's running on them, and we have another place we can put those 3-year-old servers. We're going to use them as SQL servers. So we're going to use them as well and replace some servers that are more than 6 years old at this point with the 2 that were 3 years old. We don't throw stuff away very easily, so.
Will they serve the emergency management room also?
Yes, they will. The software
Or
on
do
them
they
will
get
be
their own
used there.
servers?
No, they will be using the software that is on these 2 servers as well.
Oh, good.
It's good. Motion.
Gail move to approve the purchase of 2 new PowerEdge R730 servers from Dell in the amount of $28,291.76.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 10 is consideration of ordinance 2890, amending ordinance 2835, fixing the salary ranges, the ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for part-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year of 2018. Bridget? Oh. I didn't see her walk up here. Hi, Becky.
Sneaky. Hello. So ordinance 2890 is for the part-time personnel of the city, and all ranges were adjusted up 1.5% for the increase that was approved in the 2018 budget. And all of those increases in total is approximately $7,000 as a fiscal impact.
Questions? Comments? No? Approximately how many part-timers does that affect?
Ooh, that's a good question. That I don't have with me. I know the full-timers is 83. The part-time staff I don't have with me.
I know it fluctuates with summertime and things like that, so just curious. Okay. No other questions? Motion?
Bill move to approve ordinance 2890, amending ordinance number 2835, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for part-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year 2018.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman. Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Item 11 is consideration of ordinance number 2889, amending ordinance 2836, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for full-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year of 2018. Becky?
Yes, this is the ordinance for the full-time personnel. I should mention as well that both ordinances were reviewed by the Personnel Committee at their last meeting. These expenditures were also approved in the 2018 city budget that was approved. All of the ranges affect it's a 1.5% increase to annual wages for 83 full-time non-represented employees. And then there are some additional increases that were proposed by the city administrator, as well as 2 that were approved last year as a step for in the finance department. And then this ordinance also includes a new position that was reclassified. It used to be the police department secretary, and now it's labeled as the police executive administrative assistant. And total fiscal impact is $113,842.
Great, thank you. Questions? Comments? None? Okay. Motion.
Tolman will make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2889, amending ordinance number 2836, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for full-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year 2018.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye. Next, we have consideration of a resolution acknowledging and filing a revised 2017 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel. Hi, Jill.
Hello. So this is actually, excuse me, when we were doing the 2018 salary resolution for the library personnel, we discovered that there was an error in the 2017 or resolution for the library services associate. So this is simply to correct that error so that we can move forward with 2018 and have it all be correct.
Questions? Comments? No, just technical correction. Motion.
Clerk will move that the Common Council adopt resolution number 11889-120517, acknowledging and filing a revised 2017 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel to reflect an error in the original 2017 library salary resolution.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Item 13 is consideration of a resolution acknowledging the filing the 2018 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel. Jill.
Once again, this is the salary resolution that the library board approved as part of, and the council approved as part of the 2018 budget. It does change, actually, the library services assistant position title. It was a job reclassification at the end of 2017, or at the beginning of 2017, excuse me, to better reflect her duties as now the circulation supervisor.
Questions for Jill? And please be advised, Andrew handed out a revised wage sheet, just so everybody's aware. Questions, comments? Jill? Mike?
Yeah, Jill, are those, what do those represent, 1.5?
Yes, it represents
Okay.
1.5. The library board is normally pretty committed to staying with the same increases as the rest of the city.
And are those increases across the board? I see 3 of them listed here.
They are across the board. It's always been our process to, for the positions that have more than one person in that position, that's just always been the way that we've done it, is to list the range, but not break it out by the individual employee.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you didn't forget anybody.
Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Seeing no other, anything, Chris? Just waving. Seeing no other questions or comments, motion.
Clerk will move that the council adopt resolution number 11884-120517, acknowledging and filing the 2018 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Item 14 is a resolution establishing various fees, permits, and charges by the city of Oak Creek. Bridget?
Every year during the budget process, we go through looking at our fees and where we stand in comparison with recovering our cost as well as efficiency and competitiveness. So it's probably best if we ask each of the individual departments to say a brief summary of what their fee increase is. If we could start with Catherine.
I'm
Sorry.
prepared. Yes, no, that's okay. I believe the only change that we have in here is the alcohol licensing and the late fees, right? So our late fee structure, in January 1st, 2018, it implemented with 2018 and 29 renewals. So mid-17, all the transient merchant license process moved to here at Civic Center. We had been working jointly, and we still do, with the police department for the background checks. However, the city clerk's office took over the merchant ID badge processing. I really think that's my highlights.
All right, as for community development, we have a slight increase in fees from previous years. You may have noticed that is a slight jump in there. Reason being, we haven't changed our fees in planning for a long time. I think they might have changed it, increased last time was I first started back in '06, maybe a little bit later than that. So looking at in your packet, it may seem like they're a large jump. However, staff has done a cost analysis of what it is that it does to process these permits, and we really don't recover all our costs. And so what we're proposing is to increase our fees in order to increase our recover the cost about 85%. If Andrew, is that what the number you calculate out? So definitely a much better increase than some of the items that we had where, for example, a sign appeal, we only recovered 21% of our cost. I mean, that's just, you can't do business when you're taking an 80% hit on the services that you provide. I just wanted to, mention that the majority of these items that are on Plan Commission review fees really is in relation to development. So even though these numbers may seem much higher than what we already do, this is part of how to do business in Oak Creek. And if you compare it to other communities, we are probably one of the cheapest on the block. When I mentioned what the fee is, most developers are like, okay. They don't even ask the second question. So, I mean, there are other communities that charge over, $1,000 and sometimes even thousands of dollars for the same service we do. Now, keep in mind, how we do business and how we conduct our reviews, how we use our resources are different than Franklin or Muskego or whatnot. But we did break down what it is that our costs are, our overhead, our labor costs, and we have come up with these fees, and that's the fees that we are proposing for this evening.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add on to that, when I had a chance to review this, I want to commend, first of all, community development, the spreadsheet analysis that they undertake to cost out their processes are very, very thorough. I'm actually looking at it now. I actually found we were probably recovering a little over half. I think the staff report was a little generous. I think it said 60 or 65%. The staff had proposed a fee structure that got us to about a 93% cost recovery. But then I took a look at that a little further and really wanted to separate out the development community from what a typical property owner might in Oak Creek might realize. So you'll see, which was different than the recommendation that the staff had given to me, you will see items, I think I can itemize them, basic rezoning, CSM, affidavit of correction, minor land division. I left those the same, knowing that all the other increases were increasing significantly as we hadn't had this catch up, but B, those are the ones that routinely typical resident at Oak Creek might encounter. So I just wanted you to be aware of that check and balance feature that I talked through with the staff. So that's what's in the recommendation as well. And in the end, as Pete said, we are, even with those changes that I had made, we're arriving at about an 84% cost recovery given the fee structure.
Quite a difference. Next, who do we have? Jill?
Fire.
Each year as we come through on these fees, the county chiefs and the ICC mayors work usually together and have used the CPIU, the medical cost of living increase. This past year it was 2.85, but each entity decided to go at their own. And so a quick update on what's happened to other municipalities. South Milwaukee did stick with a 2.85. North Shore Fire did a 17% increase, and they also adjusted their pharmaceuticals, medicine, drugs, whichever term you want to use. And the Greendale is also tonight's council meeting. They're doing the 2.85. Our approach was a little bit kind of moderation. We're working through the budget process that we're looking for a little bit more realistic. We need to capture some of the loss in revenue that we're taking a hit from the county. And in regards to that, that's why we're proposing the 5% increase. And you got to remember this 5% is only about half of our insurance because the other half is Medicare, Medicaid, which is pretty well set in price. And in that case, is you kind of get what you get type of thing. And the other part of that law is still working its way through the state. So in essence, the 5%, and then we also raised the pharmaceuticals to meet what the market cost is. One of the biggest increase you'll see is glucagon, which is now $210. Years ago, it used to be about $30. Fentanyl, the whole, the world of opioids, the legal stuff has also increased in price. So that's kind of the EMS side. I'll let Mike speak to the fire inspection side.
Good evening. There was an expansion to our fire inspection fees. Based on our accreditation process in spring of 2017 and then our state audit earlier in 2017, we received recommendations through both processes that we establish a formalized re-inspection process for our fire inspections. This really is a documentation and acknowledgement that our re-inspection process is available, is documented procedurally for the citizens of Oak Creek, and it's an acknowledgement that there is some resource allocation for re-inspections. As you do know, we do charge fire inspection fees. Approximately 25% of our route fire inspections, there is some sort of violation noted. Roughly 2 to 3% of all inspections performed, we find significant violations or violations in a quantity of 5 or more. The recommendation was that for those significant violations or those of sufficient quantity, there is a formalized process. If you find a minor violation, it's generally the honor principle. The occupant or business owner receives a form that they will submit back to the fire department acknowledging when their violations are corrected. When we find a significant violation or insufficient quantity, we do re-inspect that site. We do go out and re-inspect that site. We formalize that process now to state that at 5 violations or more, or those of significant severity, we will go out and reinspect in 30 days. There would be a fee associated with that, which is half of their normal route inspection. That fee would not be charged if they abated those violations, and upon our arrival there, we noted that they were taken care of. So the fee for the re-inspections acts as a bit of a motivator for the business owners to take care of their violations to avoid additional charges. We would go through 3 cycles of those re-inspections, and then as our ordinance permits, we would go to a citation-based penalty.
Reinspection fees are roughly about 50% of the original fee.
They are half of the original route inspection fee for that facility, yes.
Okay, is that pretty much standard practice throughout Milwaukee County?
So,
Or does this come from the accreditation that we just went through?
I'll let you.
Let me speak to the history on, our fire inspections were run through Larry Haskin, and we were determined that it was, and with Jerry Peterson at the time, it's what it costs. There is no, and ours is done by the actual time in 15-minute increments. Other cities use assessed value, square footage, where, if I remember right, South Milwaukee gets an exorbitant amount of fire inspection just for doing the Caterpillar area, where if we do PPG, what is about $190 for us to inspect PPG. So it's very reasonable, and basically it's trying to be cost neutral. We're not trying to, we can't, according to Larry, we couldn't make money on the deal. We're just trying to be cost
Just trying to
neutral.
understand how we arrived at it,
Yeah.
if, in case we're ever asked.
Or Mike, 16.5, I think you, Tom, you have listed there for your EMS fee impacts for the incremental changes this year. Is that up and down the board, everything, drugs and EMS, or?
I would suppose that would be probably more, because it's also the growth in calls. Our call volume is up about 20% in the last couple of years.
So you say we had averaged a 5% increase, it still only amounts to.
Yeah, you're talking right now, we're taking about 950 grand in a year on ALS, BLS, half of that, and the 5% of $500,000 is about 25 grand. So, it's right in that estimate area.
Other questions for Tom? Or Mike? Okay. Thank you, guys. Jill, I guess you're next.
So the library, when we moved into the new building, took over the coordination of the reservations of the public meeting rooms for the meeting rooms in the library and the civic center for the public. Each year we have tried to streamline the process and make it easier for both residents as well as staff to manage. And so beginning in 2018, the library board has purchased a piece of third-party software to do the online reservations and payment, to more automate it. So these fees basically are a reflection of what the software can provide us. In the past, we charged in 4-hour blocks. The software doesn't have that capability. It requires you to charge in 1-hour blocks. So that's why there's such a drastic difference, is that we have to charge in 1-hour blocks.
Questions on library?
I should say another big change is there are 2 rooms that are no longer going to be available for public rental, and that is the Common Council chambers as well as the business center, which is inside on the 2nd floor of the library. The business center was now just being used as as a study room. People can use it for free on a first come, first served basis. And we have also opened up the story time room, which is in the children's department, for rental. Under the previous policy and fee structure, it was only available for children's service organizations, and now anyone can use it.
Quick question. Jill, on tablecloths, do we provide tablecloths?
So we actually purchased a number of round tablecloths. Actually, the city clerk was nice enough to purchase a number of tablecloths. which we think adds a level of professionalism when people rent the multipurpose room. And however, we have to launder those. And so the $5 basically covers the cost of laundering. We called other places to find out how much it would cost to have a user have them drop off tablecloths, and we're significantly lower.
Thank you. Any other questions for Jill?
Just for a point of reference, behind the memo, there's a meeting room schedule. Page 25 in your packet of the fee schedule is the old schedule. So just make sure you're looking at the right one. Right, police.
Okay. Chief Anderson, you're next.
All right. The one change to ours is probably more of a change that encompasses for court and other city departments that are processing fees. When we arrest somebody for a warrant from another community and they post their bail with Oak Creek, there's the clerk of courts, the treasurer's office, or finance, I believe, all of that money has to get sent back to the issuing agency. And many departments out there have put a service charge in when they're having those same transactions. So this is not us recouping any money for the officers when they're making an arrest on a warrant. This is for processing the paperwork and returning the funds afterwards. And this discussion, this fee came about from a discussion our dispatchers noticed on warrants. When we had somebody picked up in another community, there was a service fee posted on that warrant that they were collecting. I met with the city attorney and the judge in the fall, and we talked about this as an option. So it was a little bit easier for me to manage writing this one up and putting it in there for the fee. It kind of covers several different departments, but it is not recovering police officers' times for arresting somebody. It's just processing, getting the funds back to the issuing agency.
Questions for Chief Anderson? Comments? Thank you.
Last but not least, DPW.
Actually, our increase would be to solid waste. The last time, we changed this to a fee, actually, I believe it was in 2015. I think the last year that we actually broke even on this was 2013. They started charging, we used to actually get paid to collect some of the electronics and the TVs because of some of the metals and that they could recover out of the sets. They no longer use some of either use it or they have an overabundance of it. So over the years, the costs have gone up and up and up as far as what they charge per pound for the TVs and what we get charged for the trucking and things like that to get rid of them. I did put in here last year, we spent a total of $32,765 to dispose of all the TV sets, and we collected only $9,700. So one of the reasons, or a couple of reasons for the big disparity in that is, well, two is one, we weren't charging enough. Well, we were charging $7 a set, and we were actually one of the first communities to actually set up a fee for that. It worked for us for about the first year, and then we started getting kind of behind the eight ball on that. But we actually thought that would kind of level itself out when maybe some of those big, huge tube TVs stopped coming in, but they just haven't. So we looked around and did a little research. We are by far the cheapest community with the $7 fee. We're proposing to raise it to $20, and that would still be probably the cheapest around here. some of the companies, when they come in and set up the recycling for other communities and that, and actually, when we did the shred day, when Catherine had the company here, they were charging $20. The city of Madison just recently raised theirs to $15 per set across the board. And actually, I think if you're not a resident of Oak Creek, the cheapest place right now you could go is to Best Buy, and that's $25 a set. And they have limitations on numbers that you can bring in and sizes that they'll accept, which we would not.
Questions, comments? No. Ted, this doesn't affect computer towers, anything like that?
No, this is just strictly for the TV sets.
Okay. I think that's it. So, any questions, comments across the board? Steve?
I want to go back to the clerk's comments with regards to late fees for liquor licenses. For those who, that paragraph is pretty self-explanatory, but the license committee mulled over this issue for a number of meetings with the deputy city clerk, and basically it was businesses that were, they weren't going to be penalized for applying for their liquor license if they were late. So, and the deputy city clerk occasionally would have to go out and hand deliver licenses on the last day of their license period because they were tardy, and just so it's a good thing to at least help out that little area of the license program. That's all.
Just want to draw I know the public can't see it, but in our packet, we got a picture of just some of the televisions that are sitting down at DPW. And there's just a sea of them down there. One of them was probably one I brought in there this summer, and I gladly would have paid another $20 to have somebody come get it. That thing we'd have done. So, but if there ain't any other comments.
They multiply like rabbits on the curbside, too.
Yeah, they really do. It's amazing. It really is. Now you buy a TV and they're feather lights. So, if there's any other questions or comments? Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I just want to thank all the staff, managers. People really went above and beyond and kind of come up with some different solutions and problem solving. So this is a good get. We really are a good group here at Oak Creek. So thank you, everybody.
Most appropriate. Nothing else? Motion.
Gail will move to approve resolution 11890-120517, a resolution establishing various fees, permits, and charges charged by the city of Oak Creek.
Elskio, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Item 15 is our vendor summary report. If everybody take a look and direct your questions to Catherine, possibly Mike. I'm sorry, not Catherine. Bridget.
That's
Or
okay. I
Mike.
actually have two comments tonight. Item number 9 is out of the Tourism Commission budget, so just a friendly reminder, we will try to add that in parentheses on our larger items that flow to the front of the vendor summary report. And just a little explanation on item number 1. So we had a vehicle that we seized that we sold at auction, and we received that money in from the auction and had to receipt it into the city's general fund, but those are police asset forfeiture dollars. So we've had to then cut a check to go into the separate bank account where that forfeiture money is held. So we did not purchase a vehicle. This actually is, we received money in and now we are getting it to the appropriate location.
Questions? Steve.
Regarding item number 1, I was extremely disappointed personally that it went up that high, because I took a serious look at that and it just went past my my limit really quick. It was a sweet looking car. So that's all.
Is that it? Nothing else? Motion.
Gail will move to approve the vendor summary report in the amount of $250,119.11.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Community Development, consideration of an ordinance to repeal and recreate Section 6.26 Sub D Sub 6 of the Oak Creek Municipal Code regarding permit term for sidewalk area dining facilities.
All right, that's me. I have more reports than I do at Plan Commission, I feel.
Yeah, well, you came here for a reason.
Yeah, I guess. If you recall, back in 2015, the Common Council approved a section of code that would allow for sidewalk dining, mainly for Main Street and for the restaurants in DTS. And when that ordinance was written, the thought was they'll apply for their sidewalk license during the calendar year. You know, they'll apply in March, they'll have all summer, they'll be done at the end of November, everything is great. Well, our experience is that when you have outdoor dining, you also have to modify your liquor license, because your license is only allowed to sell liquor inside the building, not outside the building. So they would have to go through another process to modify their liquor license. Well, the sidewalk dining permit and the liquor license and the health were not in sync. And so to streamline this process, staff is recommending that we we repeal and recreate the ordinance to have this permit coincide with the renewals of the health department as well as the liquor license. So that way it should be easier for businesses when applying for outdoor dining permits, that they won't have hiccups with their liquor license and any inspections from the health department. With that being said, staff recommends that the Common Council adopt ordinance number 2886, repealing and recreating section 6.26 D6, modifying the permit term for sidewalk area dining facilities.
Great, thank you, Pete. Questions, comments for Pete? No, I just want to say Pete gave a very good description of that, and really it's the city getting more efficient and business friendly to do it as a one-stop deal. It makes our staff more efficient, it makes our businesses run better. Oak Creek's experiencing a lot of new things. Sidewalk dining was one of them this year. And really, Pete didn't hit on this, but it was completely new to us. So from inspections to engineering, okaying this, it took a lot of work on a lot of people's parts to even get that done this year. And it was completely new to us. And again, we did it the right way. We didn't rush through it and just throw it up. So just hats off to everybody in engineering, from inspections to licensing to all over the place on this, because it's not as easy as it looks. You know, when it's all said and done, it looks pretty easy, but there's a chain reaction that goes on when we make a change like that. So. Anybody else?
It's a quick question. Pete, were there any requests from businesses outside of Drexel Town Square for sidewalk dining?
No, and the reason being is most developments, most restaurants are set back from the road. You know, they have their restaurant, the parking lot. So when restaurants outside of DTS want to have an outdoor dining, they usually just have to get a site plan review showing that they have a safe environment for their customers. So
Certainly, though, if some operator wanted to get creative, I mean, they could apply for sidewalk dining. Am I correct? Let's just say on Howell Avenue, the McDonald's or the strip mall next to it, and they wanted to move a little bit farther out.
What would make that difficult is you have to keep a 5-foot open space so people can walk. So like McDonald's on Howell has a landscape buffer between their parking lot and the sidewalk. Well, they could apply for it, but how would they maintain? They would never get one because they couldn't meet the standards to keep an open egress. So it's unique about DTS is that we have the buildings right up to the lot line, and then we have a wider pedestrian walkway, and it's really only found in DTS.
Okay,
We
didn't
don't
know
have
if
it
there are
elsewhere.
other
But
unique establishments within our community that could take advantage of that.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but most other developments are set back. And
Okay.
when you think of like Georgie Porgy's, they have their outdoor dining,
Yeah.
but they have so much room that they would never need a sidewalk dining because they would always stay on their property.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing else? Motion?
Lorick will move that the council adopt ordinance number 2886, repealing and recreating section 6.26 D6, modifying the permit term for sidewalk area dining facilities.
Dukniak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukniak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Item 17 is consideration of a motion to convene into closed session immediately following the conclusion of the common council meeting pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes, Section 1985, Section 1, Section C, Section E, and Section G, to consider the resignation agreement and general release involving police officer James Laskowski. Kent?
Thank you, Mayor. Gail will move to convene in the closed session immediately following the conclusion of the common council meeting pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub C, Sub E, and G, to consider a resignation agreement and general release involving police officer Jamie Lasowski.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye. We will now convene into closed session, and we will return at the conclusion of that.
Reconvene into open session.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye. Right. Ken?
Yeah. We take an action? All
You
right,
want to
great.
to accept the settlement?
Yeah, Gail will move to approve the, accepting the settlement for resignation of police officer Jamie Lazowski and City of Oak Creek, effective December 2nd, 2017.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Brings us to adjournment.
Kirkowski make a motion to adjourn.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale. Aye. Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Great. I'd like to thank everybody that's tuned in and remind everybody tomorrow is the city tree lighting. It's right out here at Drexel Town Square. You're invited to come out, watch the lights go on, and then you're also welcome to come into City Hall. Our giving trees are up. There are paper ornaments on there. You can pick out a gift and give it to somebody that's a little less fortunate than you this holiday season. We also have our food donation barrels set up out there that I believe one of the Eagle Scouts is doing.
Correct.
He's the son of one of our police officers. It's his project. Please keep other people less fortunate in your thoughts this holiday season. And again, I urge you to get out there, discover and celebrate Oak Creek. Good night.